Hi friends and welcome back to the Copycat game devlog. My name is Kostia.
My name's Sam, and today we're going to chat about empowering the player, how we can do that through story beats, but also through some gameplay.
And we're gonna talk about technical implementations of giving players a choice and how we approach it from the UI perspective.
Super! Thematically, our story is centered on Dawn, the spoiled house cat that eventually loses her identity as pet and loses control of her world. From a game design point of view, we thought it was really interesting to restore control and give the players the two simple options, kind of like a decision tree, do A or do B. And giving control in an uncontrollable world felt really empowering to us. But we tried to play around with a couple of different ways of doing it. But the version that felt, right for it was centered on this animal hierarchy of predator versus prey. And depending on the intensity of the moment, Dawn and the player can choose whether to, scratch or bite. They can choose whether to leave or stay, to hunt or be hunted. You might have heard of this before, the fight, flight or freeze decision tree, and that's kind of grounded in our stress response cycle. This makes a lot of sense when the stakes are high and the threat is real, but it's super interesting and empowering when the gameplay starts to subvert the expectations and choose to offer these options to the player. For example, when the physical stakes are low, but the psychological threats are high. We still have a lot to learn and explore, but this was our starting point.
Because we are quite a small team, we wanted the players to make quick choices that have various levels of impact on the game without creating huge story branches. We had few ways to bring the story to life, from cutscenes with interactive boxes, to comic book style frames where you get to click on things, to classic on-screen buttons. So we decided to stay within the world and not cut away to illustrations to keep players more immersed, to keep them feel what Dawn feels in the universe in the moment. So when we were approaching the graphic design, our goal was to create something simple and pleasant to use. We call it semi-diegetic UI, and it mostly is inspired by the world of cinema. In movies, for example, if you look at the sound and where it comes from, you have diegetic and non-diegetic sources of it. If the music comes from the real radio that's there on a table, you can see it, we call it diegetic. When the sound comes from something that doesn't exist in the world of the character, it's just like overlay music, a soundtrack, we call it non-diegetic because it doesn't belong to the world. Our UI is semi-diegetic because it's not something that cat can see, but it represents a thought that's attached to an object when a player is interacting with it, and it only appears when it's relevant. From the technical side, when it comes to the implementation, it was important for us to make sure players know their action causes a certain reaction. That's why we created the mouse in and mouse out animations when you interact with the buttons. So as the next steps, we'll keep developing our UI interactions as we progress through the story, and we'll see what are the elements we need to bring to keep the story flowing, to give players the choice we want, and still keep it natural and not distracting from the gameplay.
Yeah, it was a lot of learnings over the last couple of weeks, seeing what works, seeing what sticks. I think ultimately we found something that feels really native to the scenario, and we're pretty excited to try.
And we wanted to say thank you for stopping by, watching our videos, and please stay tuned for the next updates on our game. Hopefully won't be long.
See you next time!
Bye!